Well, this week, people will start seeing census forms in the mail, and the goal is get everyone counted. The count affects federal funds for everything from local government, schools, hospitals, and roads. And traditionally, getting out the vote has meant, or getting everyone counted has meant that census workers and other outreach volunteers had to knock on doors, go to gatherings, talk to folks. So, will coronavirus fears impact that outreach effort? For more on all this, we are joined by Christian Arana, Policy Director with the Latino Community Foundation. And you've been working on this, trying to get outreach, obviously, within the Latino community to make sure everyone gets counted. And now on top of that, coronavirus fears. And how is that really impacting you?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, we've been preparing over the last 2.5 years to get people ready for this. So as you mentioned, we're expecting to receive these invitation letters starting this Thursday. And so the whole idea is to make sure that people would come together as a community to celebrate the fact that we're filling out the census form. And so if we're getting guidance from cities like San Francisco and Santa Clara County to, basically discourage any public gatherings or limit the amount of people you're surrounding yourself with, it's going to complicate matters for people to actually be in spaces where they actually can understand the census.
And so, I mean, when we've talked to you about this before, it's been about battling fears about immigration issues, battling, just other issues and challenges, making it a little bit of an uphill battle to get everyone to say, I do want to fill out this form and it'll be okay if I fill it out. When all of this started impacting the plans that you had in place, dealing with all of that, was it frustrating and a little, I don't want to say defeating, you just have to really rethink everything?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think what's absolutely essential is that this is a time for power, not panic, right? People need to understand that there really isn't any type of physical interaction needed to actually fill out the census. So as I mentioned, these invitation letters are coming out starting on Thursday. People can fill out the census online. They can do it over the phone. And if they haven't quite figured out to actually fill out the census by mid-April, the Census Bureau will actually send you a paper questionnaire in the mail. So in reality, you don't need to go out to fill out the census. But in the meantime, just making sure that people understand that this is absolutely critical, and actually critical for times like this. Californians depend on healthcare programs. California got about $56 billion for programs like Medicaid.
It matters.
It matters, right? And so, I understand we're in this hysteria over coronavirus, but this is exactly a moment for people to understand that this is why it's essential to fill out the census and to make sure that you get it done as soon as possible.
But are you regrouping? Because you've had events that are canceling, the events that you thought, hey, we're going to go there and make sure we talk to folks. How are you going to reach people to tell people they don't have to do it in person, they don't have to, they can do it online and really get that education out there?
Yeah. So I mean, so the Latino Community Foundation, what we're adjusting so far is, we're going to go online. We're going to go to Facebook, Instagram. We've even created a TikTok account to make sure that the young people are engaged on this.
That's how to get to them.
Yeah, exactly,
get on TikTok,
right? Because it's young people who are going to actually, inform their families who are often, Latino, undocumented, to make sure that they understand that it's absolutely essential to fill out this census. We've been advising the rest of our community partners across the state that, while there may be guidelines to not go in public, there are concrete ways for people to get the message, and by going online is one concrete way of doing it.
Fair to say, though, that as the situation changes, because we're watching it every day. People, the county had one response last week, has another response yesterday, and then it's going to continue to grow, that you guys are at the table or on your online meetings or however you're going to be doing them, saying, okay, how do we address this? How do we make sure we get in front of this? Because even if you get to them, getting them focused on how important the census is also always a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a doubling down of what the census really is all about. Like I mentioned, it's about healthcare, it's about schools, it's about transportation. If you think about it, I mean, the census has withstood 2 world wars, a Great Depression, natural disasters, and unfortunately, we're now dealing with the coronavirus. But at the same time, we've been through this before. We're going through it now. And just reiterating the message that it's absolutely essential that if we're coming together to wash our hands and protect one another, we also need to have that same type of mentality and making sure that we're all counting in the census, because it helps all of us.
All right, great information. Christian, thanks so much for coming in, and best of luck on all that outreach as we continue to get the word out that we all need to count. All right, thanks so much.